Here we are.
Yeah. Hey, Jeremiah, we're going live right now. What's happening, and who are you doing your shout out to?
Yo, what's up, Michael J? I'm going to do my shout out to my friends Jim Brazil and Jake Harding, all the way back in Nebraska. Without them and their willingness to change their entire life to move to California 24 years ago, I wouldn't be who I am and where I am today. So shout out to those guys. You know who you
Jim
are.
and Jay, is that right?
Yeah, Jim and Jake, you know.
Jim and Jake, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get ready to swing into action with our next guest on A Funny Way of Looking. He is not just a kettlebell training expert, but also a talented writer, musician, and podcast host who knows how to hit the right notes. With a training philosophy that's all about building strength, resilience, and discipline, he's taken the fitness world by storm with his innovative app and dynamic workouts. But that's just the tip of the kettlebell iceberg. When he's not helping other people transform their bodies and minds, he's spinning tracks as a DJ, sharing his insights on personal growth through his podcast, The Free Range Human Life, and crafting his first book on the 5 stages of change. So get ready to be inspired, entertained, and enlightened. Jeremiah Waylon, we are on and ready to talk with you.
All right. Thanks for having me here, Michael J. I've been looking forward to this. Me too. Yeah, ever since our first conversation, I'm like, all right, this is like going to be super exciting. I told my wife, I go, I feel like we're like kindred spirits who have, lived similar paths and are headed in this direction. So it's only natural we link up.
Yeah, where we diverged is like when the workout thing, I somehow dropped it, and I'm trying to figure out why and how to get back into it. So you're going to have to inspire me.
Today might be that day,
Get
there is a way,
So
yeah.
You're all into the kettlebell thing, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, kettlebells, they're very intimidating looking at first. You know what I mean? They're cannonballs with handles as people see them, and you're like, oh man, you're swinging them and they're ending up overhead and it looks all crazy. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, my spine is going to go right out my back, which isn't true. You know what I mean? It isn't true. And they can be crazy. However, it was a necessary thing for me, probably about 9.5 years ago or so. My wife and I were expecting a child, which we now have, a 9-year-old son now, which is great. However, I was like, man, I would feel really guilty, with a new baby having to go to the gym and keep up my fitness routine. And I thought, you know what? I've always seen this kettlebell. Let me take a look at this. And I went to Ross Dress for Less and purchased my first $15 plastic sand-filled kettlebell, I think for $30 or something like that. And I was like, I'm going to teach myself the Turkish get up and the kettlebell swing. And and that's where it started. And then now it's boomed into essentially, one of my main businesses, and really a teacher of life for me, a lesson in strength and consistency and resiliency and skill development and all those good things.
You know what? So I have to tell you, like, kettlebells scare me because I somehow think that I'm going to pick up the kettlebell, I'm going to swing it, and I'm going to crush my shin when I swing that thing. Like, okay, has that ever happened with any of the people that you're training?
Never, not once.
Once.
Never, not once. So I started the company Iron Revival with a good friend of mine and colleague of mine back at a gym we worked at, and we started this, and we said, you know what? People get it kind of misconstrued. They think, oh, I'm training with kettlebells. Yes, you are training with kettlebells, but what we do is we train the human body to move. The kettlebell is just our implementation because it can get a lot more done in a lot less time, and it's very efficient. It helps you, develop a skill set of strength that helps you understand, the physics of the way the body moves. And when you move, well, and you feel strong and you build up your endurance, almost all aspects of your other life get better because your energy levels are better. Okay. Your strength's better. All these things are better. So we kind of take this approach where it's kettlebell training for life, not for life like, yeah, this is all we do, but for life as in like, this is what we have.
Yeah,
makes sense? Yeah, exactly.
So what's the difference then between, say, like a kettlebell and weights then?
Like, One is good for you and one is okay for you. Okay. No, I mean, so my personal approach on training, obviously I love the kettlebell, right?
Uh-huh.
I think it's foundationally been perfect for my lifestyle. Anybody who works and is busy and does a lot of things. In my intro, you listed, like, I don't know, a million things that I do, and that's just some of them, right? And you got to find time to sustain a healthy life. Have something that'll get you going. So with the kettlebell, it's often a little bit more time efficient. You get a little more bang for your buck for what you can do. You can build endurance. You can build strength. You can build power. You can do all these things with one piece of equipment, and it takes up next to no space. And if you have a 4 foot by 4 foot corner of your house, you can train. You can show up every single day and train. Now, when you take like dumbbells, barbells, or cable machines, and there's nothing wrong with those things. Those are great. I've used them and I still use them from time to time. But you see the difference. Now you're going to need a bunch of other things to make all those things happen at once. So that's why kettlebells are supreme.
Dude, you are like completely inspiring me right now. And I'm like, okay, I'm going out and getting a kettlebell. Like,
Yeah.
okay, how do I know which weight to get? Like, because I'm sitting here, if I pick up the kettlebell and lift it and do whatever I need to do with it. But
Yeah. I mean, it's based on like sort of basic strength, right? So with generally men or stronger ladies, I would say 16 kilograms. It's 35 pounds. Are you going to be able to grab it and press it overhead the first day? Maybe, probably not. But it's going to give you enough resistance to be able to build up into the next size up. But the truth is, just get the size that works for you. For men, I'll say 16 kilos is a good start. So if you could only get 2 bells, I would get a 16 kilogram bell and a 24 kilogram bell. And for those watching in America, okay. So those watching in America, it's 2.2 pounds per kilo. So it's going to be 35 pounds and 53 pounds. Now, if you're a lady, it's probably like 12 kilo, and maybe the 16 kilo is your heavy bell. And, you just go from there.
Okay,
and
so
you build
35
up.
pounds, and we're swinging this thing around. I'm not going to worry about banging my shins because you've promised me no one's ever done that.
Well, not in my system. Our iron revival system. Your body's funny. It will move out of the way.
Okay. So, what does the app do? So, do I need to work with you specifically to get started, or can I get the app and it's going to help me get started with my workout?
Absolutely. The app will get you going exactly where you need to be. So this app came to fruition because when, this pandemic happened and everybody had a shift, we all are well aware that the gyms closed down. So my business partner and I were talking, and he's like, look, we can't make a gym. We can't make a gym because, look, obviously, it requires a bunch of different things. You have to be there. You have to do this. And my personal mission with kettlebells is I want it to be as big as yoga because it is as accessible as yoga, and it is as much a skill as yoga. Yes, there are differences. And, without going into the deep past history of yoga, which is a very spiritual thing, the principles of skill development, using tension and relaxation and breath and strength and control, those all still apply to kettlebells. So there's no reason it can't be done by everybody. So we decided, let's make an app. We've never done an app before. We just so happened to, my partner, Roger, his name Roger Parks. He's a brilliant coach. He's like the brains of all of our coaching techniques and the way we kind of bring physics into it all. But he happened to train a guy who owns an app development company. And, we talked with him and we're like, yeah, we can make this work. So we started this app, and it sort of came because we wanted to be able to track our own stuff. I guess that's how anything really comes about. And we're like, yeah, people could use this. We were doing a style of training that required you to like move a rock from one pile to another to indicate that you've done the set. And we're like, why are we using these rocks or chalk or whatever when we could track it so much better? So it sort of came from there. And through the app now, as it's progressed, our new release is coming out this month. And what it does is now you have programs available to you. So we've created these programs, and we have one in there called the Starter Pack, which is built for if you've never picked up a kettlebell in your life. That's you.
Yeah.
We're going to get you to swinging that kettlebell at the end.
Okay.
You know, you're going to learn so many different things and different ways to move your body, ways to prepare your body for movement. And those sessions are a little bit longer in nature just because of the learning aspect of it. You know, you do have to learn. There's videos to follow along that correspond. And on our YouTube page, even if you didn't have the app, let's say you didn't even get the app, which,
Right.
you know, that's too bad. But on our YouTube page, we built guides out for every single skill to start you out. You know, like, hey, you want to learn how to swing? We start you from the ground up, and you can watch it in an hour, follow along the whole time, and by the end, you'll be well on your way.
All right. I'm like literally looking over in the corner, and there's a 4x4 space right over there. So don't think I'm not going to get on Amazon or go to Sports Authority or something today and get me a kettlebell or two.
No doubt. Well, and you know, there's like, well, what do? You get the app, you follow the video. We do something we call Kettlebell Club, which is a community of people all over the world that show up and work through sessions with us. We go a little deeper into skills. It's an opportunity for you. Like, you would join it, you would come on and you'd be like, all right, I just learned how to swing, or I feel like I'm swinging, and we'll watch you. We'll help you kind of adapt what your skill set is for the workout that we have for the day, and we'll be able to coach you in real time there. And it's honestly, it's $15. You know what I mean? And so it's incredibly, like, we're like, oh, this is probably not beneficial to us business wise, but the mission of getting kettlebells in everybody's hand and letting them get the benefits of that, it supports that tremendously.
Okay, so you've trained like CEOs, you've done celebrities, you've done with athletes. Like, what's the best results that you've seen? What's a story that you can relate about somebody like me who might be overweight and out of shape, and they start doing the kettlebells and they're rocking it now?
Yeah. You know, for me, it's the day that you say you no longer want to train with me because you got it. You understand what you're supposed to do. That's the success story. And that comes, you know, many different ways. Sometimes, you know, everybody that's trained with me, maybe they hire me for a different reason. Some people need the accountability. Some people need a transformation for like whatever. And some people, you know, just want to learn skills and like be consistent at it, you know, and my goal is to be a teacher of this. You know, imagine if we still had to see our high school English teacher every single day, you know, we would have like, you know, what benefit would that be to them, and what benefit would that be to you as a student? So the goal is to build that knowledge base, that skill set, that autonomy, that nice mindset that you need to have the confidence that you can go out and you can, like, I can do this every day. Hence the app. You know, the app is there. That's sort of an extension of if you were coaching with me. You know what I mean?
Okay, I like that. And now with kettlebells, like, I'm familiar with step. I'm familiar with spin classes and stuff like that. With kettlebells, do you do things to like music too? Like, you're swinging to the music and you're lifting to the music, or is it different?
It's different, but you can listen to music. You know, we made a bunch of playlists, like, I don't know, 20 some odd playlists of just random music that like maybe fit certain workouts that we created or whatever. Generally, like when I would establish music as an offering to complement like a class that we're putting on, I sort of I'm like, okay, the class is going to have about 45 minutes worth of work. So I try to take the playlist to kind of crescendo and then, you know, kind of cool you down and do those sorts of things. So you can do it to whatever. Personally, you know, because of the skill development aspect of it, it's nice sometimes to just be in the quiet and in the silence of the workout and of the session, of the training session, and like really like focusing on what you're doing. Think of it like martial arts for weightlifting, right? Okay. So, you know, yes, you're going to be able to get in that horse stance. So yes, you're going to be able to squat. Yes, you're going to be able to throw a front kick. So you're going to be able to swing. But to do them well, you need the repetition. You need the concentration. Sometimes it's podcasts that I listen to, but setting it specifically to music, not as same, so to speak, as step. I guess it could be similar to spin. And I sort of draw from that, you know, having done a bunch of Peloton rides, and you see how, oh, this is getting harder and it's getting harder. And then the music's getting, you know, more intense. And so I kind of try to take that vibe with it. And you can do that there too. It's really what keeps you in the zone and what you enjoy doing, right?
I'm going to listen to your podcast while I'm doing it. I mean, that's,
I
listen to your podcast. I've listened about fear, about achievement, about just being present in your life, and the whole the whole thing. But I mean, you do so many cool things, and they all tie together, which I think is very cool. So, why did you start the podcast?
Well, I started it in my mind. Like I've always been like somebody who listened to talk radio. I loved it for the longest time. And funny training story is I used to listen to this radio show in Los Angeles for, I don't know, 12, 10, 15 years, something like that, a long time. And then lo and behold, I ended up training one of those hosts of that show, and it was like we built a great friendship, and it was a lot of fun. And this person ended up deadlifting over 405 pounds, which is a nice triumphant story, I guess, if you want to see numbers like that, which was cool. But so in my love of radio and talking and creativity, I knew that it was something I always wanted to do, but I was too scared. It was like to put it out there, right? It's hard. You're here.
Yep.
Somebody's going to listen to it or they're not, or it's just you and a microphone. When I perform music, it's a whole band. So there's like so much going on. There's so much harmony within the instruments and the whole picture. So I was finally at a point where I needed to make this happen. And it so coincidentally I was in Leavenworth, Kansas in March of 2020, right before everything shut down. I DJ'd a party for a close friend and family, and as we're driving to return the speakers and the equipment I rented, I was talking with my friend Kim Lee, and she's like, you got to do this. You just got to do it. Just start writing and just start doing it. And so I wrote every day for a year to try and understand how to like articulate my thoughts and stuff like that. And then finally I started it. I went and recorded 4 episodes. They were about 15 or 20 minutes. And I came away and I was like, well, I was originally like, I'll release one a week. And I was like, well, that's not enough for me. I loved it. I loved being on the microphone. I love being in a recording studio. I find my flow state there. And so I switched it up a little bit. I'm like, I got to record this every day. I need Monday through Friday. And so naturally I said, you know what? We already know people's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter and shorter. How can I impact them in a way that's digestible? And so I just cut them down to like 5 minutes or less.
I agree with that. I think the short episodes are the things that get people to watch and listen. There's definitely, the talk shows that are an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, but there's a whole methodology genre for us that like the short stuff too. So yeah. I love your stuff. I mean, I think
thank you.
It's inspirational, and that may be what I listen to while I'm doing my 35-pound kettlebell over my head that I don't want to drop.
Well, you may not start over your head. Follow the program.
Okay. We'll start with just picking it up.
Yeah. But like in the grand scheme of it is for the way I wanted to impact the world and think about how can I help as many people as possible.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we have this app, this kettlebell training app, which reaches anybody who downloads the app.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have this podcast, which is I will share some of the things I would share if we were in a regular training session together. So now you get the best of both. I don't have to be there, and it can expand it out to as many people as are willing to learn or train or coach with Iron Revival or me and any of that stuff. So
I think it's cool, man. So you've got this philosophy of taking 1% change, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do you talk about that with your app as well as the kettlebell as well as general life? How does the 1% thing work?
Yeah, I mean, this isn't my concept. I wish it was. I'd have millions of books sold, I guess. But essentially, we kind of fell into this trap, I think, as a society, that it's all or nothing, that it's all in. We got to be all in, go hard or go home, or, 90 days is going to get me to the perfect body I want. And none of these are true. None of these it's advertisement, right? And if you can understand that things do take time, and as you build up, things can begin to go faster, which is the beauty part of the lessons learned in any personal growth, whether it's using kettlebells to train, or it's your meditation practice, or it's your, just general personal growth. if you take a little bit input each day and apply and actually use it and think about it and ruminate on it, then the next day, oh, you add another 1% to it. And then if you can magically do that 365 days, and it's not even that magical, it's going to end up being like, what, 365% improvement over the course of a year. I know that's not the actual number, but
Right.
the truth, but the truth is, think of it like a snowball, right? You start at the top of the hill and you roll your snowball down the hill. What's going to happen as it keeps going? The momentum builds, the snowball gets bigger, and now it's taking out kids that can't get back on their sled at the bottom. You know what I mean? Like, that's the same. It's the same process with 1% growth. It's not about, I've got to achieve everything I need to achieve today, because that's not reality. You can achieve what you need to for the day, and maybe that will be a big achievement, but consistently showing up is going to get you consistently better results, consistent, happiness, and fulfill long term.
I'm glad that you've got like 400 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
The inspiration that I'm getting just from listening to you is like awesome, man.
Thanks. So it's you can definitely hear the evolution of the podcast. I think is, because I work on it 1% each day as well. I think about how I show up to these sorts of things. What do I want to be? The mindset I have going into it, and not that I'm like some weird philosopher overanalyzing things, but just enough to be aware.
Yeah. Well, the episodes I've listened to are like, they're spot on, man. I really like them. And I want to do something with you. We've been talking about the kettlebells. We've talked about some philosophy. We're going to just jump out of the natural zone, and we're going to talk about this or that.
Okay.
The way this or that works, in case you've never played it, is I'm going to give you a question with two choices.
Mm-hmm.
Pick one or the other. You can't pick neither, and you can't pick both.
Okay. All right.
So, and we didn't even talk about your music yet, so I may leave out the this or that music question. No, I'm not.
Okay.
Hip hop or rock? Yeah, I know.
I love them both. They're. I'm gonna go rock, but it was a tough decision. I ultimately had to go. My two favorite groups are the Beastie Boys and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So
there you go.
to pick between the two
together, man.
Yeah, and I've performed and written music and recorded music for both. And I'm going rock today.
Okay, I'll go with you on some rock too, man. How about beach party or rooftop party?
Rooftop.
Okay, yeah. Do you ever do them out in LA?
Yeah. I occasionally I'll DJ some rooftop parties. I like beach parties. The sand, it gets messy sometimes for me personally.
Yeah. I love rooftop parties.
Man.
They're just like.
Plus you get that 30,000 foot view over whatever it is you're there to see, or it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep it with music for a second. How about country line dancing or salsa dancing?
Salsa all day.
Salsa.
Yeah, I'm not good at it, but I took one lesson.
I got chair dancing. That's what I got.
Yeah, very good.
How about full body workout or split workouts?
Full body. Come on, why split? I mean, that's old, antiquated stuff, man. I mean, like if you're a bodybuilder or you have aesthetic goals that are conducive to that, go for it. But let's be real. What we just talked about. What are our attention spans like? It's 5 minutes. It's 7-second video clips. Let's take 15 minutes, do some swings, and know that that's your entire body working right there. And that's the thing with kettlebells. It's full body nearly all the time.
I like that. How about, I'm guessing that kettlebells are high intensity, but the question I have is high intensity training or steady state cardio? And does it do both? I guess kettlebells might do both.
Yeah, kettlebells can definitely do both. I'm going to say steady state cardio for the answers of this and that. With kettlebells, though, it is like I said, it's a balance between tension and relaxation, because there is something called the grind lifts, which are presses and squats and get-ups. And those are slow, and those are not as explosive as the ballistic lifts, which are swings and snatches and cleans and jerks and all those sorts of things. Now, I say steady state because I'm also an avid runner, and I think a good aerobic base makes life at a nice, easy pace.
Well, then that makes my next question super easy. Cycling or running?
I'll go running, although I thought I was like, I'll never like cycling. And then we got a Peloton, and I was like, this is kind of cool and kind of fun. But the running is just so much more rewarding for me
I got
personally.
you. I am all into cycling. I love the wind blowing in my hair, and I like being able to coast every once in a while.
Yeah, that's great.
What about green smoothies or protein shakes?
Protein shakes, proteins are the building blocks of your muscles.
Okay.
Get your greens in. If that's how you got to get your greens in with a green smoothie, then get your greens in with a green smoothie, but everything is better if you got the muscle mass to support your life,
That's awesome, man. Okay, and you do DJing. We didn't get a chance to talk about it, but and it's changed over the years. But digital or vinyl?
For DJing.
Yeah.
Oh, digital for sure. It's a
Okay.
lot less to carry and a lot more options.
You can almost carry digital in a backpack or even in like a teeny little case, man. It's awesome.
Oh yeah.
So, but I know you do solo interviews, but if you could do both, do you still like solo or you like interview episodes for podcasting?
For me,
Mhm.
as a host,
Yeah.
well, I got to stick with the this or that, right? Because that's what
Yep.
this is all
I
about.
really got one or the other.
All right. I will say for now it's solo only because it's more conducive to my lifestyle right now. However, we did 15 episodes of a podcast we called Kettlebell Corner on our YouTube channel for Iron Revival, and that was fantastic. I loved just hearing all these other coaches give their insights into the training and the ways of kettlebell, and I do recommend those to anybody that's been doing kettlebells for a while, and if you're new to kettlebells. I mean, these are some of the top coaches in the industry as well as us, so why not?
Well, I'm just saying, you know what? I want people to be able to keep in touch with you because I'm staying in touch because I got to listen to your podcast while I'm doing my kettlebells. I'm not trying to hit my shins now, but they can keep in touch with you online. There's lots of ways. Kettlebell training and education. You got the ironrevival.com, and you've also got Instagram, the Iron Revival. We can also get your kettlebell training app, which is called Bells, at the Apple App Store. Is it on Android or not?
Not yet. We figured we'd learn how to make an app on one platform before we branch out to a different one. So
okay, well,
it's in the future.
When it's on the App Store, will it work in the iPad as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you have an iPad, it'll work. I know some people don't have the iPhone, so if you have the iPad, which is a great little tool, you can do it right there too.
Okay. And then we also can find you at the freerangehumanlife.com on Apple, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, and Instagram, the Free Range Human. So
yeah,
very, very cool. I love this. I'm going to put this up because it just makes me almost tear up here. Check this out. Michelle, Jeremiah Lynn, Iron Revival, the very best husband, father, and human. You inspire us every single day. Congrats on your success, my love. I love that.
I'll be honest. I wouldn't be able to do anything or be where I'm at if I didn't run into her on Christmas back in like 2007. So.
I didn't ask her before, but does she do kettlebells?
She just started learning them. She does her thing. We're work together when it's time. But yeah.
Michelle, we're going to swap kettlebell stories.
That's right. Let's get these kettlebells going.
All right, man. Thank you so much for being on. It's been like super fun and inspiring talking to you. So we're definitely going to do this again.
Hey, anytime you're ready, I'm ready, Michael J. I appreciate it so much.
All right, man. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye.